Okay, so this week we are going to start interest and financial literacy. So to start that, we're going to do simple interest first, and it really is quite simple. So get your journal to take notes, or if you want to take notes digitally, that's fine as well. Okay, so this is TIC 812D. 812D says simple and compound interest, but this whole week we're just going to talk about simple interest. We'll talk about compound interest next week, and then we'll take some time comparing the two. Okay, so the thing here is, I don't know why it's doing this. I don't know if it's going to do this in the video, but every time I go to a slide on my explain everything, it like comes in pieces. I don't know. Okay, so learning targets. Number 1, you can identify the interest rate, principal, and time, which is going to be in years in a real world situation. So that first learning target is all about vocabulary. Do you know what an interest rate is? Do you know what principal is? Do you know what time is? Do you know what interest is? I forgot to put that one on there. Okay, and then number 2, I can use the simple interest formula to calculate the amount of interest earned, and then also the balance in an investment account. And so over there, here, you have the formula. I equals capital P RT, and that would be on your reference chart, which I did not put a copy here in this slideshow, but there is a copy of your reference chart on the classroom under the reference category. So if you click there, you can see your reference chart, but that's what you will see on there under simple interest. Okay, so what does that mean? That means by the end of these notes, when you finish these notes, you should be able to express the time period in years. So we say that because sometimes they give you months and you have to convert that to years, like 6 months is half a year. Okay, you're going to be able to use a formula to define the amount of interest, and in looking through the release star questions, a lot of times that is what they're asking you, just what's the amount of interest. Use a formula or substitution to find interest rate or principal or time. They use other variables, the P, the R, the T. And find the ending balance in an investment account, because sometimes we don't want to know, yeah, it's great to know how much interest we earn, but I want to know how much money I have at the end. Kind of like when you do discount. Okay, it's good to know how much money I save, but in the end, I want to know how much it's going to cost me to buy whatever it is I'm buying with the discount. Okay? So the first thing we come to is our formula, I equals PRT. So remember, when they are, your variables here are together like this, that means we are multiplying. So I is your interest. Okay, and that is not on the side. Interest. Interest is money earned for investment. So if you, hang on, I can't talk and write. Investments. If you put money in the bank, or you invest in like a mutual account or a CD or something like that, and they pay you interest, the bank will give you money. So what the bank's going to do with the money you put in there is it's going to turn around and invest it. That's how banks make money. So they'll invest it. So they're kind of paying you for the use of your money. Okay, so that's what interest is. It's money you're getting just to have your original deposit. You get money, maybe you get like, I don't know, $500 for your birthday or graduation or something like that, and you want to invest that. Or maybe when you were born, somebody gave you money and your parents put it in an account bearing interest to invest, so that by the time you graduate high school and you go to college, it's going to be worth a lot more. The other side of that is if you borrow money. If you want to go borrow money for a car, that's a simple interest problem. And yeah, the bank will give you money, or the dealership will give you money to buy the car, and you're going to pay it back, but you're going to have to pay back some interest. Again, that's how they're going to make money, okay? So this financial literacy kind of unit talks about investment, okay? But just remember, invest or borrow. Like, there's two sides of the same coin, so to speak. Okay, so this interest is money you're earning just for putting your money in some sort of account with some sort of bank or financial institution. And the reason they're paying you is because they are going to use your money to invest to make some money for the bank. So they're going to give you part of that. Okay, so just remember, interest is money you're earning for doing absolutely nothing. You just put your money in the bank, and if you get an interest-bearing account, they will give you interest as long as you leave it in there. Okay? All right, so this next slide has the P, the R, and the T. So P is your principal. That's the original amount of your investment. It's what you start with. You get $500 for a birthday or something, and you're going to open an account, your principal is $500. Okay? R is your rate. That's the percent you're earning. And a lot of times on like car ads, you'll see APR. That stands for annual percentage rate. Okay? It's a percent. So if, when you're doing these problems, if you are using a calculator that has a percent key, like on my phone, I have a percent key. I think the calculator, though, we were looking, the other 8th grade teachers and I were looking at Chromebooks, and that might not have a percent key, but I think if you Google calculator and you guys use that one, it has a percent key. So if it has a percent key, you have to remember to type percent after the number. If it doesn't, then you need to convert that percent to a decimal, and you do that by dividing the percent by 100. Okay? All right, so, or when you divide by 100, you end up moving the decimal point to the left 2 places. Okay, because remember 100, 2 zeros, that whole thing that you did in 6th grade, you converted percents to decimals. That's when you learned how to do that. Okay, all right, and then T is the time. That's the amount of time you invest. This is always thought of as in years. So if they give you months, you have to convert it to years, and you do that by dividing by 12, since there are 12 months in a year. If I invest something for 6 months, it's 6 out of 12 months, which simplifies to 1/2 or 0.5. Okay, so you have to be careful about that. Okay. All right, and then there are sometimes they do charge you like daily interest. If you take out one of those, like a paycheck loan where you can go get money for 2 weeks, like that is an incredible amount of interest yearly, but then they break it up into daily, and it seems like, not such a bad deal. So that's something that you would have to, consider as we go down that road. But like I said, right now we're just talking investment. These are all going to be people investing money. That's where you want to be earning interest. You don't want to have to pay interest if you don't have to. Okay. All right, so here we have some practice problems. So an investor puts $3,500 into a life insurance policy that pays 7.5% simple annual interest. If no additional investment is made into the policy, how much accumulated interest should the investor expect at the end of 10 years? Okay, so this is important, and they're going to say this in almost all of your problems: no additional money put in. So a lot of times, if you get, like, say, $500, somebody gives you $500 in your baby, and your parents invest that, more than likely they're going to add to that over the years. Okay, but this is just basic. I don't do anything. I just plop some money in an account. 10 years later, I go to take it out. How much interest did I earn? Okay. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is write down my formula, of course. I see that it is simple interest, and on my reference chart, that's this formula. Okay. Now the P is usually capitalized. Not sure why, since you're not really calculating it, but there you have it. I don't know. Okay, so I want to know what my interest is. So I go through here. Rate is pretty easy to find. It has the percent. That's your rate. Okay. Time, also not too hard to find. Time is, years, months, days. Okay, so that's T. Okay, the biggest things that kids confuse are principal and interest, because they both have money signs. They're both money. Principal is the money you start with. Interest is the money you earn. This says I am putting, let me get a different color here. I'm putting $3,500. That's my principal, because that's what I'm starting with. Okay, so now all I do is substitution. Principal is $3,500. I'm going to multiply that by my rate. So on my calculator, I'm going to push 7.5%, and I'll do the decimal here in a minute. And then my time is already in years, and it's 10 years. Okay, so put that in your calculator. If you do not have a percent key, 7.5% is equal to 0.075. Okay, so that would be what then you would put in here if you needed to. Okay, all right, so let me grab my calculator and see what we get. 0.3500 times, and I have a percent, so I'm gonna go 7.5% times 10. And that gives me 2,625. So at the end of 10 years, I'm going to have an additional $2,625. And that's what my question asked. How much interest? How much interest? What is my interest amount? Okay, so then this would be my answer. So, and this will post it over here, I'm going to write my interest amount is 2,625. Now, while we're here, just saying, what if I want to know what my balance is? So if I earn $2,625, how much money do I have in my account now? Do I have 2,625? Well, no, because I still have that 3,500 I put in there. That doesn't go away, right? So my balance is, I started with 3,500. I earn, so they're paying me, so I'm getting 2,625, which gives me a total in my account of 6,125. That's the total in my account. Okay, so you have to read carefully because sometimes they do ask you, what's the balance of the account? Okay, so if I find out the interest, I add that to my balance. That's how much money I have right now. Okay, all right, let's look at another example. Okay, so Paul E. Gahn, deposited $1,250 into an account. He made no additional deposits or withdrawals. So he's not putting more money in. He's not like taking money out. He's just leaving it in there and forgetting about it. Okay, Mr. Gahn earned 5.25% annual simple interest on the money in the account. This wants to know what was the balance in dollars and cents at the end of 5 years. Okay, so first of all, annual simple interest. There's a formula for that. Let me scooch this up a little bit so I have room to write here for you. So I write that down. Interest is principal times the rate times the time. It's the amount of money I'm investing times the percent they're paying me times the number of years it's in this account. Okay, so 1,250 times my rate, 5.25% times my time, 5 years, and that's in years, so everything's good there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in my calculator. 1,250 times 5.25% key times 5 equals $328.125. Okay, so now, I don't know about you, but I don't go to the store and they ask me for 0.125 cents, so I'm going to round that to $328.13. So, is that the balance I have in my account? Well, I hope not, because I started with 1,250 and I'm supposed to be earning money. I sure hope I don't only have $300 in there. So this wants my balance. So my balance is going to be what I started with. I still have this. Nothing happened to it. I didn't take it out. Plus I earned $328.13. So my balance is $1,578.13. So that is my answer for that question. Okay, so you need to read carefully. Make sure you answer the question. Do they want to know how much interest I earned? Do they want to know how much money I have in my account? Those are the two questions they're going to ask you. Unless, of course, they ask you on this next one to solve for part of the formula. They want to know what the interest rate is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. Not a big deal. Y'all can do algebra. I'm going to do this so that you can see how it's done, but then I'm going to show you kind of a trick. I don't know if I want to use that. A hack, maybe you would call it. There's ways around this, being as we have multiple choice answers, okay? So, let's see, Mrs. Tetra opened an account with a deposit of $5,000. The account earned annual simple interest. She didn't make any additional deposits or withdrawal, so no money going into the account, no money coming out of the account. She's putting it in there, forgetting about it for 4 years, and at the end, she has $6,500. And we want to know what percent interest did she earn, okay? So first thing that I notice is this is the balance of her account. So if at the end of 4 years, she had $6,500 and she started with $5,000, that means she earned $1,500 in interest. So that's our I, okay? And so the principal we have is right here. That's what we start with, so that's your principal. The time is right here. That's my time. My rate I'm trying to figure out. So 2 ways to do this. I'm going to solve it algebraically, okay? But look, you have answer choices. You could substitute. You could do 5,000 times 5.8% times 4. See if you get 1,500. If you do, yay, you're done. If not, 5,000 times 7.5% times 4. Did you get 1,500? If not, you get the idea. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and solve this algebraically for those that want to know that, and then we'll check the answer, I guess, and that's how you would eliminate the percentages to figure out which one it would be. Okay, so 1,500 is my interest. Oh, I did not write down my formula. Yikes. There we go. The principal is $5,000. Rate, I don't know, so I'm going to leave it an R. And my time is 4 years. Okay, so let's clean this up. I can do 5,000 times 4. So 1,500 equals 20,000 times R. That's just a simple one variable equation you've been solving since 6th grade. Not a big deal. I undo the multiplication with division. So I divide by 20,000. Divide by 20,000. And yes, I have a calculator, but I'm going to make it a little easier on myself. So my rate is equal to 15 over 200. And 5 goes into both of those. But I'll grab my calculator. 15. Hang on. 15 divided by 200. 0.075. So let's look at our answer choices. What answer choice does that look like? B, right? So how do you make that a percent? A couple of ways, actually. You could convert that. A lot of your calculators, well, you can convert, I'm sorry, I just had a moment. The Nspire would take that and make it a percent for you. But you could convert all of your answer choices to decimals that way, and do it that way. You could remember that to make this a percent means out of 100, so we're going to multiply by 100, and that'll give us 7.5%. Or you can say, well, those have the same numbers as letter B, so it has to be B. Okay, so the other way to do this is to, let me come over here and use blue. I'm going to start substituting. I'm going to say 5,000 times 5.8% times 4. I'm going to grab my calculator. I'm going to put that in, times 5.8% times 4, and I got 1160. That's not 1,500. Remember, you still have to do this. This is how you start either way. So it can't be A. Right? And then when I do B, I get 1,500. So I know that that's the right answer. So 5,000 times 7.5% times 4. That gives me 1,500, so that's my answer. Okay, so either way, okay, the important part though is to understand, they told us the balance after 4 years. We have to know the interest. This formula tells you the interest amount, so you have to subtract the original amount that you had to figure out how much money you earned. So over those four years, she earned 1,500. Okay. And that just about brings us to the end. I think I put, yes, what if I don't get the right answer? What could go wrong? Here's what you need to remember. Did you remember to convert the percent to a decimal or use the percent key on your calculator? That is huge. If you don't, then you are multiplying by, like, say, 65 instead of 0.65. That's a big deal. Okay, so this could happen. Did you remember to convert the time to years if necessary? Like if they tell you 4 months, so 4 months divided by 12, you need to multiply by 1/3, not 4. 4 would be 4 years, okay? So make sure you have years. Did you remember that this is a multiplication problem? That should have been the first one. So it's principal times rate times time, okay? So remember that, okay? Did you make sure you answered the question? Is it talking about interest or is it talking about the balance? Okay, the balance would be the principal plus the amount of interest. So remember that. Balance is what's in your account after all the interest is paid to you. Okay. Did you remember to substitute values for the missing variable into the formula to check your answer? Or if you have multiple choice, that might be how you're finding your answer. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so those are some things to remember. If you're not getting the right answers, maybe something here is going on. Okay, I think this one is a big deal. If you're going to make a mistake, that's where I would bet most of the mistakes are going to be made. So make sure you're paying attention to whether they're giving you interest or whether they're giving you the balance, or on the other side, whether they're asking for the interest amount or asking for the balance. Okay. I think this is just right now I want you to just take a minute, look back through your notes, think about what you learned. How do you feel about it? You know, this is like, I don't get this at all. You probably should watch this video again. Which I'm not sure, I'm going to put this in Edpuzzle, so I'm not sure that you can. But if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's in the playlist there for Math 8. If you want a copy, if you need another copy of the video because you want to watch it again and you can't get into Edpuzzle again, then let me know. I know some people in algebra, I did an Edpuzzle, they got the answers wrong, they wanted to do it again and said they couldn't. I'm sure it won't let you change the answers, but I think you can still watch the video. But let me know and I'll see what I can do. Or there's a lot of videos online, and I was trying to find one for y'all, but there was something I didn't like about each of them. Khan Academy, I didn't look at that one. That's probably your best bet. Okay, so now think about it. Well, I don't really understand. Write that down right now so that you can remember to ask me. Or stop right now, go to the comments for this assignment, and send me a private comment with your question, and I will answer it. Okay, and then this last slide is credits, because I didn't make up these. I made the slides. I didn't make the template. They came from something called Slides Mania. Okay. So let me know if you have questions, email me, comment in the classroom, schedule a booking, do a Google Hangouts chat, or we have a class meeting. Well, this is Tuesday's assignment. This is Monday's assignment. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Our class meeting is Monday at 11 o'clock. So if you get up and watch us before then if you have questions, that's a good time to ask. If not, then like I said, email, comment, Google chat, or book a tutoring session, and that can be one-on-one conferencing, video conferencing. I can work problems out with you. If you want to do that, make sure your parents have filled out that Google form given permission. Otherwise, we can do a Google chat back and forth, and that works just as well, honestly. Okay? Alrighty. Talk to you soon.